Do you remember the England-Bulgaria game for the
I
Euros?
do.
For the Euro qualifiers? That was a game shadowed by racist abuse. All
Yeah,
I remember of that game was the racism during the game,
yeah,
and it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting.
exactly. And that's why Black Lives Matter is so important. Like racial justice is it's so important, um, and it needs to be addressed. Um, but I would like to just refer to a little bit to um, all of the ridiculous things that have been going on in the last few weeks, in the last week really. And I've had a bit of a change of heart from last week about all of this censoring. And I didn't last week. I didn't really know how far they were going to go with this. Um, I thought they would just look at a few and maybe get rid of them, but it's becoming a farce now. I mean, we've now got people on Twitter complaining that Cocoa Pops is somehow racist because it has a brown monkey on the front, whereas Rice Krispies have a couple of white kids on the front. And I just think it just that sort of thing angers people, and it's just unnecessary. It doesn't have anything to do with what they're trying to achieve, and I think it just gives them a bit of a it doesn't help with their following. Like
It's nothing to do with colour anymore. It's
no,
just
it's
become
just
like a
selfish.
pilgrimage on what can we move on to now? What can we destroy? Because we may find it offensive. Penny Lane
I
in
know.
Liverpool is apparently linked to a slave trader.
Yeah,
So
there's
they're looking at getting that renamed.
it's been vandalised all over the place, and actually the whole of Liverpool has got links with the slave trade because most of the buildings apparently were built by slaves. So if they're following that line, are they going to knock down Liverpool? It's a fair point. They're
John
obviously not.
Cleese John Cleese of Monty Python made a very good point. The Greeks are famous for using slaves and being slave traders, as are the Romans. Do we rip down statues? Do we take them out of history books and not teach about ancient Greece or Romans anymore? Or Egypt? The pyramids were built by
No,
slaves.
exactly.
Did you not call those down because they were built by
See,
slave trading?
this is my issue. Right? Well, at what point is this going to stop? I mean, I just the other day I walked through the gardens in Lyme Regis near where I live, and one of the statues there had been branded racist and everything because I don't know anything about this statue, but someone has obviously found that he had links with the slave trade. You know, when is this going to stop? And it's not helping.
No.
But yeah, I want to just talk about Little Britain for a moment because there was a very interesting interview I listened to on Talk Radio, which I sent to you, um, and they had a black woman on as a guest, and she was making a very alternative point that she actually loves Little Britain, and she thinks it's quite offensive that people seem to be assuming that black people will find it offensive, and it implies that they don't have a sense of humour. And I
And
thought, no one's thought of that, have they? It's just the assumption that everyone will think it's offensive. It's very selfish.
Little Britain doesn't just
Exactly.
mimic black people, it mimics disabled people, fat people, thin people,